Oye, good day. Trina Christine Mason here, reporting for duty of today's day, representing my D1PW shirt from like when I was 14 years old, my first wrestling match. And today I'm actually reminiscing over some parts of aspects of my life that have come to be my personal reality. And I'm not trying to make people feel uncomfortable or feel bad for me or anything like that. You know, like, as a matter of fact, I want all of that to go away. But I know that there's like a lot of people who have empathy, you know what I mean? And also sympathy, like in a way where they've like been in the position I've been, or they've seen like other people who have been with what I've been with and things like that. And as some of you may know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I recently came out about an experience that happened to me before I left for the Gathering of the Juggalos, where I was at a massage therapist and the man had kissed me while my eyes were closed, lying on the table, and like had attempted to like touch me in private areas. And I had to constantly like keep reinforcing my boundaries, but also obviously as being a previous like sexually abused person, or should I just say like molested person, like where I was touched in my sleep and things like that. My automatic responses in those childlike stages were to freeze, and I was unable to express or move or be or do anything. And now, when I experience this as an adult, which, by the way, I feel like I've had this experience as an adult again, like while I was touched in my sleep at my first gathering of the Juggalos. And that was like the first time that it happened since I was older. And then like the same exact stuff comes up. Like when you're touched in like a sexual way, there's a time, like sometimes where it actually still feels good, you know? And it's like, it's kind of confusing to be experiencing those emotions while like your boundaries are being crossed in a way where you didn't give like permission to the other person to have those experiences with you, especially if you're sleeping. And like, you can only imagine the psychology of like where you think you're like in a dream and something feels good, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my God, like what's happening? You know, I know I make like a lot of dark jokes about this stuff, but it's like the only way that I found to be like safe and okay with it, okay? And like there are parts of me that didn't react in super violent or like professional wrestler type ways, and that can also get to you, you know, especially like when you hear the words of, did she put up a fight? You know, it's like, did I not fight back enough? Do I have to get violent and aggressive? And then like, as I started studying psychology more, for those of you that don't know, that's originally what I was in college for, was psychiatry with holistics. And I started studying more particularly about the children's psychology, like being able to know if a child has been sexually abused and signs. And one of the signs was self-harm and hypersexuality. And both of those I did notice in my youth, that those were expressions of myself. And it's kind of traumatizing, like realizing like now as I connect the dots backwards, like all my hypersexuality and all like the levels of expression of myself that I have been, you know, that some people are saying like, oh, you're gonna be a mom, and like giving me drama about like what I've done in my past and how I've expressed myself comfortably with my nudity and my body. I realized, you know, that I had done that, putting that version of myself on stage, quote, you know, to the world, hoping to receive like this love, this like care. And then like I had drawn a boundary where at times I had miscommunicated attention and love. Does that make sense? You know, because you had never received like these types of energies. So sometimes you might think that like, oh, wow, that's a loving touch, but really like that's like a hunger, like lustrous touch. You understand? And it's just like really, really hard. And it's hard for me to like still be with a man and things like that too, because of like how many ways guys have like messed with my head, and the few that I had given an opportunity to have like a loving relationship with me, and that I have like what I think with every single partner I've been with is that my intention was initially with the thoughts that like, oh wow, maybe we can have a long-term thing, but I didn't really understand the divine law or order of things. And I can recognize the genetic memory, like where like the past keeps re-expressing itself with me, like because my mom was abused in that way, or because her sister was, or because her mother and this and that, like genetically, okay, ancestrically. And part of like my thing is that I clean up a lot of people, and I help a lot of people, but then I get like attacked hardcore, and then like I do it because I love it, and it's kind of part of my purpose. So I feel like so a lot of times I do it when I'm not being paid, and sometimes people are drawn to my energy and they don't know why, and they especially have like sexual draw to me. Even if I'm not dressed in a provocative way, they'll still be called to me, and it seems like all those lower energy pedophiles. Wow, did Trina just make up a new word? But you know what I mean? Like people who are totally like predators, and they love to be predators. Like those people seem to like flock to me. And I've had like a lot of psychological and emotional and like slight physical abuse, and I'm looking to access new levels of like consciousness, protection, healing, etc. So that's why it's been important for me to just be completely honest and open, and just like honestly just scare away everybody that's not for me. You know, if you're not watching my stuff, if you're not watching my every single video, like if you're not like really in love with me, please just go away, because like I'm here to be loved. I'm not here for your shadows, for your judgment, for your pity, for your money. I'm not here for that. I mean, obviously we live in a material world, and it would be nice to like have financial support so that one can like buy a house and have stable foundations, right? Especially someone like me who bounced around like all throughout my childhood, going through like several different schools, particularly high schools. I feel like 6 different high schools. And just like, so my inner kid now is just like, I want to get rooted. I want to get solid. I want a good, healthy relationship. Someone who's not saying one thing and doing another. And like I choose to not have a long distance relationship. Like part of me like likes it because like I have my freedom where I can keep traveling, and I don't have someone who's like jealous when I need to like go to Peru or go do this, that they're understanding that I have things that I need to do that like they don't want to do, that they're still going to let me do what I want to do even though they don't feel like that's for them. Does that make sense? Like I need to still be able to like paint, you know. I can't be in the environment with someone that's like going to be like interrupting my vibe, like they're going to be playing some kind of obnoxious music so that I can't channel this energy into this painting, you know, or things like that. But I will admit that like I am looking for a partner who's going to be interested in being with me in these places, and if they feel that I shouldn't be at this particular place, like if they were against the gathering of the Juggalos, that they would say like it's not in your best interest and this kind of goes against the grain of what you're doing, and then, you know, talk to me about the finances aspect of it and things like that. You know, I'd want a partnership like that. And for me, it's just really hard for me sometimes to find like that alpha that's for me. You know, like a lot of people think that I just want like a submissive male person. You know, as fun as that has been in my experience to mess around with the BDSM community and to do those things as a form of healing, to get away from the ways that I was like forced to be submissive and to deal with traumatic injuries, I'm also simultaneously learning the methods of fighting and learning the methods of survival and learning the methods of professional wrestling. And yeah, like I'm learning who I really am, the truth of who I really am, like how I'm meant to be outside. You can just notice a complete difference when I'm outside. I'm just such, I want to say I'm such a better person, you know? And if you look at my face, you could tell I'm sick. I'm very ill. Maybe you can't tell. I mean, maybe you can because you follow me frequently. But I am experiencing an extreme sickness at this time. But luckily I got my healer. My dang George, who just loves me so much. All this animal healing is exactly what I need. Love you, boy. Love my boy. He's so precious. Just smush his face into my hand. God, I love him. I've been so stressed out and emotional since like all this stuff has happened again or whatever. Like it's re-expressed all these things that were just very buried. And then like, honestly, like even during the massage, like it first started coming up because like when certain parts of my body are touched, in the regular massage way, you know, that like all the genetic memory is in there too. Like when someone like punched me here, or grabbed me there in this way, or did this or that, you know. So like my sexual abuse has led me to go to massages, and with my STD and things like that, like I feel a need to sometimes like pay people to have like that touch and that loving energy. And I just feel like this person kind of crossed a boundary, and then like it was hard for me because it was someone that I actually enjoyed and liked. And so, like, I wasn't trying to offend them when I ejected their kisses and things like that, but I still feel like looking back that, like, it wasn't exactly what was best that had occurred, and that maybe I didn't respond in the way that I was supposed to. Maybe I froze too much. And just having, like, to be with all that has been extremely difficult, and especially from, like, the other flip side of, like, again, like, the slight part of the self that's like, man, I would love to, like, have love made right now, you know, and like be loved in these ways. So there's like a part of guilt and shame, and like it's confusing. It's very confusing, and I know that there's like a lot of other people who deal with this stuff. And so sometimes I come here as like an intention of like, wow, maybe I can bring the community together, and then I can identify with more of those who have been through similar situations. But then sometimes I feel like I'm just putting in all this work and it's just not giving back to me the way I want to. I feel like I've given a lot of myself away, you know, and I don't mean like sexually. I mean, obviously, like I've created like a lot of amazing content in my youth and all my days, but like I was angling more so at like all the energy I give, the constant lessons, the constant free content, the constant things that like I feel like I'm basically begging people to give back to me. You understand? Like I shouldn't have to do that. You should know that like what I've given is worth for you to pay 2,000 of your tithing personally, because that's what you have to give. And that, yeah, maybe you should include a note that says something nice, like, I believe in you. I don't know, something sweet. But people seem to like have such worth mentalities and have like such difficulties. Now I'm more than happy to like assist others and have relationships with like basically almost every single person in the world. And I don't mean sexual relationships either, so don't get in the gutter, okay? My morals, the way that I feel, is like my soul and my body like desires to commit to one being. But then like I want that being to give me that equal energetic exchange. That I'm the goddess, that I'm put up on the pedestal and they're the king. Right? But they can only be the king if I'm the queen, and I can only be the queen if they're the king. So it's kind of like that. That's Uncle Frank's teachings and words, by the way. So excuse me as I deal with like all these things. I'm sorry for OnlyFans and all those people who like kind of expect me to like create that kind of content and take from me in those ways. Like a lot, I'm actually having issues with their systems themselves and their creators, and I can't really talk to anybody on OnlyFans, so it's like really almost impossible to get my things going again. And honestly, I feel like I'm being pulled away out of this entertainment world and out of the world of staging and acting and clips and gimmicks. And I just need to be real. And like, I want to just like, I can't lie. I like the art aspect of it, and I like creating. And yeah, obviously I love the money that comes with like a lot of the work that I do. But at the same time, like I'm entering a new access of character of myself where it's just best for me to like leave these old parts behind. And like, I have like a lot of people asking me, like sending me emails, like, can I send? Can I send? Can I serve? Like they're implying like, can they send money? Can they help out? But like, honestly, like these people, you can tell that they're like attempting to what I call top from the bottom. Like they're acting like, can I send? But when it comes to sending, like they're the ones that leave you feeling like they have something that you don't. You understand? Or like they'll try to like play it the other way. Like, oh, all I have is $30 to send. Can I send that? Is that okay? But meanwhile, they actually don't send at all. You see what I'm saying? They just jerk your chain. So like, I'm really tired of dealing with like things like that, the time wasters. And I'm just accessing like a whole new, another level of self and being, and like respect for the self and others. And just like, I'm cutting all these ties. And it's kind of difficult because some people just want to be like, hey, you were this guy. There's no changing. There'll be none of that. And I'm just like having to be with all that. My soul is excessively hungry. I'm hungry to serve. I'm hungry to be of service. I would love to have a personal session with you, like one-on-one, if you'd be interested in booking some time with me and actually seeing like what our dynamic is, and like if I have healing for you, or if it's going to be an equal energetic exchange, or if you just very clearly have bad intentions, or should I say intentions of being all about you, that you get me or something like that. I say get out of here with that. Okay? There's very few that really know where it's at and know like who I am and what I'm about, and there's like only one, I believe, who's going to last. And I just keep hoping for that happy ending where I get to have my kids and my safe place and my George and like maybe an animal sanctuary, tons of yoga. I mean, I have like all these dreams. But right now, my health. I'm really struggling to get healthy. I'm really sick. I'm like moments away from going to the surgeon right now to ask some questions to really prepare myself. I believe the surgery date is August 14th. I'm contemplating so many things, you know, like I'm not going to be able to swim in my mermaid tail, and now I'm questioning, like, do I just sell my mermaid tail? Who am I? What am I doing anymore? I literally just don't really even know anymore. And I'm in this like huge catharsis and like detachment of releasing myself of everything, and just like sometimes I fantasize about just like giving everything away and just like leaving the country. Taking like the only things that matter. You know, and I probably like, I've been thinking a lot about that too. Like, what if we just like put everything out of like maybe this room, and then you put in this room all the things that you actually just really want to keep. The things that really matter, you know? Things that like would make you cry or you'd rather not have. Cheesy stuff, you know? And it'd be really funny to see like what I would pick, you know what I mean? Like, let me think, what would I pick? What am I obsessed with? I'm seeing one thing. I was seeing a little tiny raven trinket, which I got from this place that I call Edna's Treasures. She has a lot of Native American stuff. And like when she got really sick and went into the hospital, and I thought that she was never going to come back and that her shop was going to close, I tried to find a piece, like, you know, a piece of like her and that was it. And like I'm starting to release myself from all these stories, so I was like starting to even question, like, you know, that's not really anything either. I mean, I have my toys that I like, you know, like I like my ring light. I love my my Michael Banks little cheesy things, you know, and I'm just a nerd like that. But I also recognize that I don't need those things to be myself and my powerful light. So it's been like really fascinating to access these different levels. But it's also been very like almost catastrophic, I want to say, to release and to cut ties. And like I'm still in like this purging of releasing all this stuff and like giving stuff away and throwing stuff away, and I'm going to need to sell this or do that, but I've just been fighting it. And there's been so much clashing of like past Trina versus future Trina, and I'm having to like let all these child parts die. And a lot of it is like child abuse. And as soon as I nip these things in the butt, it seems like I'm going to be in a much better place. I guess I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to take care of myself, give myself this means shower and a shave, because my pits aren't my favorite right now. And I'm thankful that I don't have MRSA right now. And I'm just exercising gratitude and mindfulness and all these amazing things. And my sinus injuries is causing like a lot of anger and things like that. And I have some notes that I wrote down that I'm going to want to go over. So maybe like I'll write something up really special and then I'll read it out loud, or love to work on things like that, get myself together in a whole new way, and also like access new levels and release all this stuff that I am not. And just honestly, I'm just going to need tons of rest, tons of love. Like I always want to make jokes, you know, like awful jokes that aren't jokes. Send all you can. What a world that we live in, you know. It kind of drives me insane knowing that like people are so clinging on to their money instead of their health. How quickly they'll invest their money into soda or like awful things that just very clearly deteriorate your health, such as cigarettes. And I'm no one to judge. Don't let me throw stones at you, okay? Just know that when I stop, when I stop complaining is when I stop caring. So I'm complaining because I don't want you to die. I want you to live a long time. And I know it's hard for you to live with everything that you've been through. But I do believe that we all can make it through. And I'm determined to be that assistant and to continue producing as I have before in the past and to re-access these levels of the self that I feel like I can't always go and be because there's always somebody drowning me in their sadness and their stress. But I have to also choose to no longer attach myself and empathize with all of that and to give myself permission to receive pleasure and not just like an instant gratification or sexual ways. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm sure I have so much more to share, and maybe it would be best if I did this on a live stream or something like that, but please feel free to leave some comments or show some love or do your part in my world. Only you know who you are in my world and what your intention is and where the cards fall. Follow your heart above all else and guard your heart because everything you do flows from it. I think of that all the time. Yeah, I really need some time alone now. So let me stop working. Right? I've just been working all morning, like putting in so much work on myself and this and listening to this. My friend goes, listen twice, speak once. So give me some time to digest everything. I'm glad that I released a lot of stuff off my chest. Again, I feel like there's so much more that needs to come out. I'm trying to see if I can hear what it is now. I guess the final conclusion is the lesson of learning how to love the self after the self had been so abused and neglected. And like how to stop that from happening and being able to tell the difference and to have the purity of thought. But I've had to be so honest about things, and God, it's been taking hours. Like I thought it would happen overnight to fix the video, but I had to literally stop it and re-upload it. So I know I'm going to get a lot of heat and a lot of attack for all these truths that I shared that happened to me at the psychopathic gathering of the Juggalos. And maybe there'll be repercussions. Maybe even my so-called family will drop me. But hey, this is me. I'm TB, TCM. I'd love to go to school for acupuncture. I would love to have so many people backing me. I would love to have true friends and like God family everywhere, no matter what country, no matter what religion. Our love for all of us, just to love one another and to come together in peace and harmony and like to sing the same song together, even if it's I love you, I love you, I love you. Something cheesy, I don't know. Principle. We could all be saying it in a different language. I love you in American Sign Language. I-L-Y. Oh, Y. Yellow. Silly. I got a pimple. What's that acupuncture point mean? Samuel? Somebody? You feel like doing homework? You can pay it forward in that way without stealing or doing something evil. Pay it forward. You don't have to send $1. You could do it that way. Who cares if you're the third person to tell me that at least you did your part? Well, you could. That you wanted to. That's the problem. What do you want to do? Besides bad things, recognize your subconscious programming. Notice when it expresses itself. And notice when yourself is against yourself. Notice it. Notice that that's a subconscious programming. It's not your fault. I love you. Take care of you, okay? Nobody else is going to. You have to. Namaste. Trevor Kwan.